And I remember sitting in that hospital bed thinking that my life was over.
Can we work it out? Only time will tell.
Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a couple of videos because it's MS Awareness Month, and who am I? I am Lii Borossy, or my name is Lii Borossy. I was officially diagnosed with MS 1.5 years ago. I know I've been suffering for the past 3 years because it's all started when my son was just born. He turned 3 now in January. And today I wanted to talk about what happens after your diagnosis, what to expect if you are on this journey, if you haven't yet gotten the diagnosis, if you're going through testing, that kind of thing. First of all, my heart goes out to you. In my own personal experience, I feel like the months of testing and the months leading up to actually getting my diagnosis was probably the hardest ones for me. Yeah, those few months were really hard for me, and my heart goes out to you. And I just want to let you know that it does get better, even though your symptoms sometimes won't. The mental side of things, in my opinion, gets a little bit easier, because shortly after diagnosis you are in so much shock you can't make sense of anything. And for me, I feel like some days I'm still in that phase. I'm still trying to accept this condition and new version of myself, because basically after a diagnosis like MS, you become a new person, you change. Your whole essence change, even if we don't want it to. At least that's how I feel, and how most people, I believe, feel as well. It's like we have to come to terms with this new person ourselves. And I kind of wanted to talk about this topic for today's video, because I think I haven't touched on it as much as I would have liked prior, but probably because I haven't made sense of it myself. So when you first get diagnosed, you go through these stages of grief, right? So you are in disbelief, then you start to think like, no, this is not happening. You're in denial, basically, thinking that this is not happening. Why is it happening to me? What did I do wrong? And you spiral and you just start to blame yourself. At least that's what happened to me. And then you start to go down this rabbit hole of what's gonna happen. We never know what's gonna happen. Will I have an attack tomorrow? Will I wake up blind? Will I wake up? All these crazy thoughts start to happen, because it's so unpredictable. Multiple sclerosis is so unpredictable, and especially for me, when my doctor told me that I have a very aggressive and active version of MS, he did encourage me from the beginning that he wanted me to start treatment. He wanted me to go on a treatment for hopefully not have any more attacks, because he said that the first one I had was so severe, he would not want to risk me not being on treatment, basically. But it took a while before I took the step. I was probably 6 months or more contemplating if I wanted to start any kind of treatment, and it wasn't until I had another attack and I saw him, and we did an MRI, and he said that I have a new active lesion on the right side of my brain, for me to decide that, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go on some kind of treatment. So if you don't know, I'm currently on Ocrevus, and March 28th marks 1 year of me being on Ocrevus, and I have my infusion that day, so I'm gonna be celebrating my Easter in the hospital, getting my infusion. Yay! Not looking forward to it. I don't do very well during my infusions. So far I've had quite severe reactions each time, all 3 times. And last time I was there for 10.5 hours. It's just not something I like to do, okay? So think of me on the 28th, please. Let's pray that it will go a lot quicker this time. But anywho, I'm digressing. So I remember when I was diagnosed, Or when I had my spinal tap and I was all those days in bed. I had severe complications after my spinal tap. If you want to know about that, I have that in my playlist linked down below. I have a spinal tap blog that you can have a look at. It will take you through the whole process. But I basically ended up in the hospital and I was bedbound for 10 days. I couldn't move. Every time I would move, I would either faint or vomit from the pain. I had the worst migraine and I was just so ill. It made me so ill. And they poked me 6 times, like it was out of this world. It shouldn't have happened the way it happened, but it did. And it was just a very terrible, terrible few weeks for me. And I remember sitting in that hospital bed thinking that my life was over. I was sitting in that bed questioning everything. I only had, like, this was a few days in the hospital, so when I was finally able to sit up, I started being able to think. When you're in so much pain and you're just lying down, breathing yourself through the pain, you don't really have the time to think. But when you start to feel a tiny bit better, you start to think. And my thoughts took me to the most darkest places, and I was just thinking that my life was over. What am I gonna do now? I have a newborn, I have, a very young little baby that I was still breastfeeding, and my daughter also very young, like who's gonna take care of them if I can't? I just had all these horrible feelings and thoughts, and I thought that I was gonna not be able to go on and be strong for them and do all the things that I need to do. But little by little you find the strength. If you just don't give up and you give yourself the time to mourn and be sad when you need to be sad and feel your feelings, it will get better. I always try to do things that makes me feel good. I try to boost my mood as much as I can, and on the days where I feel like I cannot, then I let myself be sad and I cry and I tell my fiance how I'm feeling and he gives me that space. So that would be a recommendation. But I think it's a very lonely and scary place to be in the beginning, and if you are there, my heart goes out to you. And if you want to reach out, if you want somebody to talk to, I'm here for you. You could send me a private message on Instagram or whatever you feel comfortable doing. I'm here for you guys too, as much as you have been here for me, supporting me throughout my journey. But yeah, I felt like, because I've done YouTube videos for a while, nobody really watched them, to be fair. And I remember sitting there also thinking, will I ever share this part of my life? I've shared everything else, but will I share this part of my life? Will people think less of me for having this illness? Will people think that I'm not interested or interesting anymore? I had all these kinds of thoughts and fears, and I thought my friends wouldn't want to be friends with me anymore. All these weird things, which are obviously not true, but you can tell how emotional I get talking about this. So I break out in hives. This is one of my MS symptoms. Very fun stuff. At least you know that I'm real and what I'm talking about comes from the heart and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just so hard, isn't it? Like, we lose ourselves, but we need to find ourselves again. And I'm just now starting to find myself a bit more. And I feel like having this outlet, sharing my story, because I know I'm not the only one feeling this way. I think I'm taking something negative and turning it into something positive. And I want to be that role model. I want to be that source of inspiration, motivation, positivity, but real. I mean, some days are shit. Sometimes days are really, really hard, and I don't want to pick up the camera and I don't want to share my story because I feel like I'm only coming on here and complaining. That's not what I want to do, but I want to be a voice for people like me, and I want you guys to know that there are other people like yourselves out there. We're not just statistics. And yeah, I just want to talk to you guys. It's MS Awareness Month, and this is part of my MS story. And if you sit there and you think that you're alone, you're not. You're not going through this alone. We are a good few people on this earth going through the same struggles. Hopefully there will be a better future for us. The research has come a long way the past 15 years, I would say. A lot of things have happened. We have a lot more options treatment-wise available. There are more studies being done regarding to diet and lifestyle changes that we can make, and I feel like the ones that I've done has absolutely made an impact. The number one thing that's making me feel better is exercise. How simple it might sound, but that's the only thing I've seen pure benefit from. It has no side effects. It's not dangerous. It just makes me feel better, and it reduces a little bit of my symptoms, not all, but it helps. I'm on my treatment because I'm scared not to be. I feel like I don't want to be, but I feel like I have no choice. I am a mom of 2, and I can't afford to be selfish in this journey, even though I would like to be selfish sometimes. Yeah, there are a lot of things to be said. I'm gonna continue this conversation with you guys in a future video, but we're gonna stop for now before the video gets too long. But if you are new here, I highly encourage you to subscribe. I share my own journey here with you in vlogs and sit down videos, but let's send some positive vibes across the globe to everyone who's dealing with this, and wish me luck for my infusion, and I'll see you guys soon. Much love. Bye.